Decide. Decide to change. It's that simple. Who do you want to be? Live into that person now. What a great motivation for change. I'm going to share some tools to help you evolve and transform so that you can break free of the things that hold you back. Join me on a journey that shows you how to evolve from an I can't to an I can mindset. A journey that transforms you from living in fear to living a life of freedom. I'm not suggesting you won't struggle with the I can't mindset or never have fear again. You just won't be held captive by them anymore. First, let's look at the words evolve and transform because they will help you set your pace for this change. By my way of thinking, evolving is a slow process. Transforming is a fast process. Slow might seem like a good pace. Fast may seem scary. This discussion reminds me of an ambulance call I was on where the patient had dislocated her knee. Her kneecap, technically. She wouldn't let anyone on scene relocate it, so she took the slow, bumpy ambulance ride down the dirt road to the hospital so that a doctor could look at it. Initially, though, she wouldn't let any nurse or doctor fix it. But after some time, more pain, and more persuasion, she allowed a doctor to put her kneecap back in place. Yeah, it hurt for a moment, and then it was over. Oh, I didn't know it was that easy. I should have done this at home. That's the difference between evolve and transform. Slow and bumpy, or fast and relief. You're going to get to can if you stick with me. You get to choose which pace you'll take. I'd been a high performance coach for 5 years and loving the difference I was making in others' lives when I met Bo. Since I wanted to be a speaker, I decided to sign up with him, the best storytelling coach around. Before a half-day session, he asked us to determine, in one word, what the most common challenge we faced and helped our clients with. Tough question. One word? I dove in to figure out what that word would be. I wrote down all the issues my various clients had. I created a handwritten page of 4 columns filled with words. I looked at that page for a couple of days, looking for the common thread. That one idea, that one word. I woke up the 3rd day with one word I felt was the foundation for every issue my clients and I had discussed in our coaching sessions. Fear. Up to then, I'd been guiding people to increase their energy, learn habits for better life performance, and manage their ADD. None of that is possible, I realized, if you're wrapped in or trapped by fear, resistance, or an I can't mindset. I didn't know much about fear beyond what I'd witnessed in life, mine and others. But that's not enough foundation for guiding people to work through their fears. Time to study up. I read books about emotions, fear, leadership, mindset, personalities, and even willpower. I talked with people, listened to podcasts, and watched talks. It's amazing where you can pick up kernels of information about fear and what it does to you. I spent an intense 6 months researching to become comfortable talking about this, and I'm still studying. Everyone has fear of some sort or another at some time in their life. But about 20% of the US population is affected by chronic fear and anxiety issues. If you subscribe to the Enneagram model, 50% of the world is fear-based. That impacts you at work, in school, and in your personal life. Brené Brown says we put on armor in response to our fear. Armor is heavy, limits our movements, and holds us back. And if we don't deal with it, the fear can turn into grief, rage, and depression. My analogy for fear is that we cower in the back of our proverbial cave, hiding from all the things that we are resisting, that scare us, worry us, make us anxious, or say, I can't. And if we don't deal with it, the fear blocks living a full life. I was a shy child. As a 5-year-old, I wouldn't let my family catch me pretending to be Ginger Rogers. I wouldn't sing loudly enough to be heard beyond the edge of the stage. In 4th grade, Mrs. Gillum tried to get me to sing by turning my back to the class. No, I wouldn't speak loudly enough for my 5th grade teacher to hear me either. Mr. Johnson tried to get me to act as if I was yelling at my big brother across the playground. That didn't work either. I was so deep in my cave, so shrouded with armor, that I was stuck. Somewhere along the way, I decided to shed my armor and move to the mouth of the cave. I started learning how to live more freely, learning to not be held captive by fear. What I've learned with my studies is that fear has a specific and valuable purpose in life: to alert you to an important, possibly life-threatening situation that needs your attention and action now. Yep, the situation might be a car barreling down on you, a bear or lion coming out of the woods at you, or a weapon-wielding thug aiming for you. Those are situations where you want to take quick action. I call this survival fear. But emotions you have can raise fears that aren't life-threatening, so don't need quick action. The emotional situation might be around public speaking, taking a test, or asking someone on a date. Those are situations where you don't have to take quick action. I call this submission fear. When you're faced with fear, survival or submission, adrenaline and cortisol hormones surge through your body, so you have the focus and energy to act appropriately. Your pulse, blood pressure, and blood glucose increase. Your growth process and digestive, immune, and reproductive systems are suppressed. Fear is intended to be short-lived, just long enough to get you out of danger. When it's short-lived, the hormone flood subsides and your body resumes normal operations fairly quickly. But when it's long-lived, because you didn't have to take quick action, keeping the fear and flood strong, those hormones start wreaking havoc on your health. Maybe it shows up as GI or sleep issues, high blood pressure, headaches, or weight gain, or depression. I'm focusing on submission fear, which is fear given you by experiences, relatives, or people who have influence or had influence over you when you were in your formative years or feeling vulnerable. Those fears pop up now because you've never been taught you have a choice, and you have an active imagination that runs wild when you don't control it. These fears are illusions, false evidence appearing real. Yes, they feel real, but are they? As I considered how to talk about fear, I realized that a framework I developed from my Camino experience for discussing living a more satisfying life used the perfect combination of elements to help people transform their fear. It's also good for discussing how to evolve from I can't to I can. If you're ready, let me teach you that framework. I'll do it now. Are you ready? I have an acronym to help you remember the framework's 4 elements. CAPO. Do you know what a CAPO is? Let me find there. It's an accessory for acoustic instruments like a guitar. And when it's clamped to the guitar's neck, it raises the pitch or vibrations of the sounds. And I'll show. If this is a guitar neck, you clamp it on like that. There you have it. And that's what transformation does for you too. It raises your vibrations. The C in CAPO is for curious. Looking for alternatives to expand your options, learning something new all the time by exploring inside and outside the box you're in. The A in CAPO is for adaptable, being mentally and emotionally flexible to new experiences and change. The P in CAPO is for present, not letting the past or future rule your life, aware of what's around you. And the O in CAPO is for open, willingness to take chances on your life and dreams, to grow, and to always be pushing yourself to the next best version of you. Individually, each element can raise your vibrations and help you evolve from I can't to I can, and transform your fear into action. And when you weave all the elements together, you can't help but evolve and transform and be free. Let me tell you about curious, the first element of CAPO.